Hello, my name is Dan. I am your host for this October 10th question and answer session. Actually, one of your co-hosts. We'll start the videos now. See you at the top of the hour.
And as I looked at my life, I asked myself a question, and I want to ask you a question. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you could have done more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands, please. Now, that proves the point of what we do, what we accomplish, what we produce in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us.
I told you, I'm the real champion. I told you, I'm the champion of the world. All of you follow. All of our critics follow. All of you suckers who write the Rain magazine.
I want you to think about some major goal that gives your life a sense of meaning right now. Something that will give your life a sense of purpose and direction. Some personal goal that you'd like to achieve. And some career goal, some financial goal that you'd like to achieve. And your social contribution. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind.
iPod. The phone.
What's your goal?
Are you getting it?
What's your dream? What is it you want to do with your life? What would the world be like if everybody lived their dream? Here's what I've found about life. And it's not as complicated as I used to make it. I think that life is about dreams and stories. Everything that exists, the world at one time was barren, but everything that exists, hotels, planes, they weren't here. Everything that we see every day, computers, all of the things that we see, someone had a dream. Someone had a dream of a person standing on stage and their voice being amplified so they don't have to scream and yell and can be heard by thousands. Someone had that dream of how to transport us from one place to the other quickly and safely. The clothes you have on, where you're now seated, all came out of somebody's dream, the world's greatest achievement.
I still have a...
The ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never went after that dream. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever.
I'm Mr. Nobody, the man who doesn't exist.
So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is. And that your life is to live your life inside the world and try not to get in too much trouble and maybe get an education and get a job and make some money and have a family. But life can be a lot broader than that when you realize one simple thing, and that is that everything around us that we call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you.
Find out what it is you want and go after it as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. But what do we say? But there always be tomorrow. Oh no. There's no guarantees you're going to show up tomorrow. There are a lot of people who were here yesterday, but they're not here today. There are a lot of opportunities that were around yesterday. They're not here today.
I have a simple question for you. Would you follow you? Are you hearing me? Would you follow yourself? So I want you to take a step outside of your body right now and visualize it. I want you to take a good look at yourself from a third-party perspective. What do you eat? How do you perform at the office? How hard do you go at the gym? How much do you contribute to society? What is the impact you have on your peers and your family? Do you focus on personal growth? Or are you out there seeking for selfish gratification?
When you're working at your dream, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Oh, it's sweet to you. It's good to you. Why? See, when it's hard and it's a struggle, see, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kindness.
Your life will never be the same again. All the failures, all the mistakes, all the hurt, it's over. But hear what I'm telling you, it's over. Poverty is over. Would you follow you? When you get to that point, when you can really look at yourself in the mirror and say yes with a proud smile, then we have no choice but to follow you. Because you'll be a legend. So get there.
We have, as humans, we have something that no animal has. And what it's called is imagination. And what imagination allows you to do, it allows you to see it before it actually happens. What I mean by that is I need you to go 10 years into the future, 20 years into the future, and I need you to see yourself actually becoming the person you want to be. You got to live in the forward. Block the whole world out. Put some music on, some classical music, right? The piano if you need to. I don't know what you need to listen to, but I want you to take 30 minutes. Go in the closet. Go in the basement. Go to the library. Go into a room alone. And I want you to take 30 minutes. And I want you to imagine. I want you to take 30 minutes and I want you to live in the forward. See, the problem is I'm talking to some of you guys. The problem that you're having is you're living in the future and you living in the present. And you keep talking about the mistakes. You keep talking about the past. You keep talking about your trials. You keep talking about your situation. And I want you to know that everybody that's ever been great, everybody has had an obstacle to overcome. They've had a barrier that they had to climb. There is no individual who's ever reached success and he didn't have to go through an obstacle or a barrier to get there. I need you to live in the future. I need you to go in your future every single day. I need you to go in your future. I need you to see what you're going to be. Listen to me. What you are to be, you are now becoming. And so you got to use your imagination. And your imagination has to take you beyond the pain. Your imagination has to take you beyond the trouble. Your imagination has to take you to the next level. We had to see ourselves there long before it happened. The second tool is we got to embrace faith. I have to have faith to believe that the thing that I see 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that one day that thing is is going to be successful. When I was homeless at 16, I could have quit. When I was homeless, I could have given up. There are many days that I thought about committing suicide, but I said to myself, just keep imagining, keep thinking, keep seeing what you're not now, but what you're going to be. Sometimes it's going to be hard. Sometimes you're going to look all around you and nowhere do you see success. Nowhere do you see anything that remotely looks like success. But you got to embrace, number two, you got to embrace the faith. You got to believe that although it's not happening right now, if you keep pressing, if you keep pushing, guess what? One day is going to be your day. That's right. I need you to say that with me. One day is going to be your day. Embrace the faith. You got to be able to see it and believe it, that when there's no evidence around you, when there's no evidence around you, when you got pain in your life, when you're tired, you feel like giving up and you feel like quitting. When you look around you, you don't see anything that looks anything like success. You got to embrace the faith and believe that one day going to be my day. But one day can't be your day if you give up. If you quit, no day will ever be your day. There will never be a point in your life where it's the right time to do a great thing. If you're waiting for that perfect moment, that perfect timing, it's not going to happen. You know what you have to do? You have to create the perfect time and the perfect opportunity and the perfect situation. So that a lot of people become comfortable. They stop growing. They stop wanting anything. They become satisfied. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like. Jobs that are making them sick. You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. When you have some goal out here that you're stretching for and reaching for that takes you out of your comfort zone, you'll find out some talents and abilities you have that you didn't know you had. When the messenger of misery visits you, what are you going to do? What will keep you in the game? There are things that you think you'll never need to know, that you may only need to know one time in your life, but that could save your life because you had that knowledge. Unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talked yourself out of it? You're waiting on your next door neighbor to make it happen for you, it may not happen. If you're waiting on your mother or your father, they may be so ancient in their thinking that they don't understand this opportunity that you have. And if you're waiting on them, it may never get done. You don't beg average people to be phenomenal. You don't beg good people to be phenomenal. You just are phenomenal and you will attract phenomenal. What reason can you remember that you can call on, that you can reach on, that can make you get back up? Find that reason. If you're not where you are, if you're not where you want to be, if you don't have what you want to have, if you're not where you think you should be at this particular place, it has nothing to do with the system, but it has everything to do with the fact that you're not making the sacrifice. I want you to make that dream become a reality, because if you don't, you will be working for somebody else to make their dreams become a reality. Everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more. And let me tell you something, that's a lonely feeling. It's a lonely feeling, particularly people that you're doing it for. Most people take their greatness, take their ideas to the graveyard with them. Listen to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. There are people right now who are working who don't want to work. There are people who hate their jobs, but they keep getting up to do it. The wealthiest place on the planet is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, we will find inventions that we never, ever were exposed to. Ideas, dreams that never became reality. Hopes and aspirations that were never acted upon.
Question is, what are you going to do with your time? What drives you? And greatness is a lot of small things done well. Day after day, workout after workout, obedience after obedience, day after day.
When things don't work out for you, when things happen that you could not anticipate,
What are the reasons that you can think of that can keep you strong?
You will never ever be successful until you turn your pain into greatness, until you allow your pain to push you from where you are to push you to where you need to be. Stop running from your pain and embrace your pain. Your pain is going to be a part of your prize, a part of your product. I challenge you to push yourself.
See, it's easy to be on the bottom. It doesn't take any effort to be a loser. It doesn't take any motivation, any drive in order to stay down there on a low level. But it calls on everything in you. You have to harness your will to say, I'm going to challenge myself.
I mean that what you did last week don't count. Today is the only important day. There are 86,400 seconds in a day, and how you use those are critical. You got 86,400 today, and what you do today is going to cement who you are. Nobody's going to talk about what you did last week.
That the biggest enemy you have to deal with is yourself. There's an old African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm.
You have this opportunity of a lifetime. It means absolutely nothing if you don't take advantage of it in the lifetime of this opportunity.
I got a saying that when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential, as opposed to saying no.
When you die on E. Leave no dream left behind, God. Leave no opportunity left behind. When you leave this earth, accomplish every single thing you can accomplish. Listen to me, you're going to be here one day, but you'll never get here if you give up, if you give in, if you quit. And finally, guys, you got to want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe.
It just takes a spark. Something to get the ball rolling. Something to start the dream, the passion, the journey. It just takes a glimpse of something great. Something that makes you want to be better. Something that makes you want to be part of something bigger. Were you picked last? They don't think you're good enough? Well, too bad. You'll be back. Just wait. Give them a reason. Give them a reason to change their minds. Greatness isn't given, it's earned. Nothing worth celebrating comes easy. You're part of something bigger now. Has it hit you yet? Take it all in. It's time to show them what you're about. This path will be difficult. You're going to work. You're going to sweat. Early morning workouts, they'll test you. They'll push you to and past your limit. And just when you think you've hit a wall, get a running start and knock it down. Limitations? Grab that bat. Break through it. You know practice can't be taken lightly. Everyone likes to play the games. Winners love to practice. They desire the grind. Excellence is a choice, a decision. It's hard to measure effort. It's hard to measure attitude, but you can control that. You can bring that every single day. You know the results of the compound effect. You know how to get 1% better today and then be able to do it again tomorrow? Failure? Yeah, it's part of the game, part of life. We embrace that, welcome it. Failure is simply an opportunity to improve. Adversity? Bring it. Every player, every team will experience it. The Final 8 in Omaha will be the best at overcoming it. Use this moment, this chance, to compete against the game, to grind daily, to show that you are abnormal. You're willing to make consistent, positive daily choices. That is the mentality of greatness. It's time to make your mark. our mark. We live by our core covenants. Selflessness. I am a great teammate. Excellence. I desire to get better every day in all areas of my life. Energy. I will bring it every day with a relentless positive attitude. Do you think your opponents have put in this much work? Who cares? They don't matter. You compete against the game. The game is tough enough. The game always knows. It knows who deserves to be rewarded. You know that this isn't about any of us. It's about all of us. It's about the other 8 men on that field that put in that work. Share our beliefs. Welcome that adversity. Bring that energy. Don't just try to win. Winning is the result of daily decisions to get better. Winning will take care of itself. Believe that. It just takes a spark. It's time to show where you've come from. It's all about the journey.
When you want something out of life, you've got to be willing to go into action. Don't wait around for things to be just right. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't wait for the ideal situation. It will never be ideal. There will always be a reason. Well, as soon as the children grow up, as soon as I pay my bills, as soon as I get my divorce, as soon as I get enough money together, do what you can, where you are with what you have, and never be satisfied. A lot of people never take a chance in life. They don't want to take any chances. They want the situation to be ideal. See, that's not walking by faith. That's walking by sight. If I can see it, I'll do it. No. That's a lot of people say, if I can see it, I'll believe it. No. If you believe it, you can see it. And don't be disturbed because no one else can see it. That's not unusual. That is ordinary. But because you want some different kind of results in your life, you've got to be willing to be unreasonable. If you want unreasonable results in your life, you've got to be willing to be unreasonable. Part of being unreasonable, you don't judge according to appearances. Part of being unreasonable, you can see it because you believe it. That's part of being unreasonable. Part of being unreasonable, you're like Paul who said, you must have the faith to call forth those things that be not as though they were. That's part of being unreasonable. The other thing is that one of the keys to self-motivation that empowers you is that you want to find a cause larger than yourself. Find something that you can contribute to. Find something that you can make a difference because you can. Part of what feeds your larger vision, part of what gives you a reason for being, part of what gives you your life is being able to give something back. So I can't afford to give anything. You can't afford not to give. Give your time. Give your talent. There's nothing just to go there and lick envelopes. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going over there. It's part of my tithing in the universe. Once you develop that special sense of mission, and that's what you develop when you're part of a larger cause than yourself, it drives you. You don't need an alarm clock to get up in the morning. You have special power. You'll go places and folk will like to be around you. They will know there's something different about you. When you go in, they'll say, hey, that's somebody important. I want to know who you are. I just want to be near you. That energy that you have, that consciousness that you will embody will affect everybody around you. The next thing is that you want to create a home court advantage for yourself. You've got to be aware of who you have around you. So you want to be selective. Have friends that will enable you to grow. So according to the relationships that you develop, we grow from people and projects. And the relationships that you develop can enhance and can enrich your life, or they can drain you. I know many talented people who had a great deal of potential, but because they didn't surround themselves with other people that will inspire them to transcend themselves, they never realize their greatness, and they will end up going to their grave with all their good stuff still in them. So you want to look at your relationships, the people that you're involved with, the people that you communicate with most often, and you want to ask yourself the question, what am I becoming because of this relationship? Does it inspire me? Am I motivated? Am I encouraged? Am I driven to develop myself? Am I seeking my own greatness? What kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Am I becoming more cynical and negative about life? Ask yourself that. The next thing is, you got to say yes to your life. You've got to say yes. Yes to my dreams. Yes to me. Yes, I can make it. Yes, I can. Doesn't matter how many failures I've made. Doesn't matter how many mistakes I've endured. Doesn't matter about my defeats. Doesn't matter about what I've done. Yes. Yes. I don't care about the fact I'm in a hole now. Doesn't matter about where I am. Yes. The last chapter to my life has not been written yet. If you judge me now, you'll judge me prematurely. I haven't exposed all my stuff yet. I'm still in the process of transforming my life. I'm still in the process of becoming.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dan Allen, and I am your co-host today for our Q&A. I am bringing the controls over to our host. Give me 1 second. We're right at the top of the hour. I'm not at home, so I got a different setup. But this is, hold on 1 second, my partner, Mr. Tito Avila. Tito, give me 1 second. I am working to get I'm omitting all.
No worries.
Okay, there we go. You are now the host, my friend, and the call is yours.
Beautiful. Good morning, everybody. It's a rainy day in North Carolina, and we're ready to talk about some trading, answer some questions and whatnot. Just gonna pull up my trading view here first and foremost. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, and we'll also be raising our hands if you have questions, or first come, first serve. Feel free to unmute yourself as well. We're gonna go ahead and take a look here at these charts. Give me 1 moment. I think this is it. There we go. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, and let me make sure we got the Zoom right. Chat open. Okie dokie. Participants, there we go. Okay, we still got some people coming in. Okay, so if you have anything anything specific that you would like to talk about or go over, please go ahead and type it in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself. I'm still kind of getting the hang of using these controls at the same time as sharing the screen. It's a little bit weird in Zoom, but I'm getting there. Okay, there we go. Actually, what I'm going to do is, I can't do that. Okay. Okay. All right. Queen Ella, how you doing? All right. How to cut and paste the trade signals. All right, let's go ahead and get you unmuted here, Queen. And
great day. How are you?
Wonderful morning. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling epic.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm excited. Got some ching ching the other day, and looking forward to this other side of ching ching. So,
no doubt.
The question was, I guess asked last week. However, I know we couldn't get to everything. Now that we're actually, going through the Forex classes, they've been phenomenal this week. Definitely been showing up. I'm more of a builder. However, this side here, I'm definitely excited about. However, now that I am a part of the networks, I was kind of like, I guess in the beginning, got stuck where when I was signing up in Telegram for the ENN news, they had asked a question. I think I kept doing it so much that it just kicked me out totally. So they were reinstating me to be able to experience all of the Telegram apps, which were the last, the 3. So the one that deals with the signals, how do we get them there? How do we get it to, are you on TradingView?
I'm on TradingView, and this is, basically, well, the first question that I would ask you is, what is the medium, right, that you're using to place your trades? Are you using MT4?
MT4, MetaTrader 4. I'm in demo right now, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing that I would say is that you definitely want to get in position, okay, and get familiar with your trading platform. So if you haven't had a chance to really dig into MT4 and get used to placing trades, in demo mode or in live mode, that is the first and foremost thing that you want to get comfortable with before you're, plugging in signals and whatnot.
Okay.
So
that sounds logical.
Now, with that said, pretty much every platform has the same universal basics in terms of how to place a trade. Okay, and so always when the dream team sends out signals, they're always going to give you 2 crucial pieces of information: what the take profits are, or is, if it's just one, and what the stop loss is. Okay. The vast majority of the time, I would say 90-some% of the time that they send out a signal, you're just going to buy it at the current market value, which is very straightforward. So I'm going to show you what it would look like here on my demo account on TradingView, just so that you can get an idea of what the semantics and what you're going to look for in MT4. But this is not exactly MT4. So you're going to have to take this and translate it over there. But once you understand the basics, you can use any platform. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's just, say that there's a signal here on this exact pair. Let's say, that we call this GJ, GBP, JPY. All right. And, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to, how to place this order. Let's say that they're telling you to put in a sell order, okay, on GBP, JPY. All right, so what you're going to do is up here on the top left in this particular where the buy and the sell is. Okay, the red is sell, the blue is buy. They're telling you to sell. You're going to click on the red one. You're going to enter how many units in this particular case with this platform, which is Oanda through TradingView. This is how they do it. On MT4, you're going to see they're going to ask you how many lots you want to put in. Okay, specifically. That is entirely up to you. So we're not going to really go over that. That's, you're going to get used to managing your risk, deciding how much you want to put in to your trades as you go forward. You have to have that clearly established as part of your trading rules. I'm not going to get into that part. I'm just going to show you how to place the actual trade. So units aside here, let's say that to take profit, they'll usually give you a price, right? So we could just say as simply as this. Let's say that the take profit is this number right here, okay? 137.016. And you would come here and you would literally type that in, 137.016. Make sure that that's all clear. You double check it always. And then the same thing on the stop loss side. You're going to see what stop loss they have it set to. Maybe it's this number right here. You know, we don't have to go too far and make it complicated. Let's say that they're telling you the stop loss is 138.310. Okay. You're going to plug that in. You're going to double check, make sure it's all correct. And then you're going to go ahead and place that order. Okay. Now, right now we can't because the order or the market is closed over the weekend, as we know. But typically you would hit that button, whether it's on here or on MT4, whatever, you're going to see the order go through. It's really that simple. They're just telling you what the parameters are for your take profit and your stop loss. On occasion, you'll find that they'll tell you to put in, you know, like a limit order or a stop order, as they call them. And those are a little bit more advanced signals. So I would say for the purposes of this call, we're not going to worry too much about that. This right here is the key. Just make sure you know your take profits, make sure you know your stop loss. And even more important than that is to make sure that you're taking that signal promptly, that you're not letting too much time pass before you take it. So when somebody sends out a signal, the very, very first thing that you want to look at is how long ago did this come out? If you caught it right when it came out, perfect. Get in there and you know, if you want to go for it right off the bat, that's your prerogative. I personally, when I see a signal, as I mentioned last week, I take the signal as an opportunity to learn. Okay, I see a signal come out and my first thought is, okay, a master trader, you know, a professional has sent this signal out to thousands of people. So they have to be seeing something that is making them feel confident enough to do that. I want to know what they saw because I want to learn how to be able to do this on my own as well. And very simply, first thing before taking the signal, I'll go in, I'll take a look at the chart, you know, see what they're seeing, you know, come out and do my top down analysis. You know, I typically start on the weekly on my top down analysis, you know, take it from there, zoom out, that macro view, that bird's eye view, and then eventually just taper it down, step it down, right? And look at the, just get rid of all this extra stuff. Look at the charts that way. Down to the 1 hour. Once I'm on the 1 hour, now by this point, my analysis is enough that hopefully I'm starting to see whatever it is that they were seeing. Okay. And then once I feel personally confident in agreeing with them, right, as Mr. Allen says, you know, if I agree, then I'll take the signal and I'll take the trade. Not everybody does that. Obviously, that's your choice. We're just giving advice here, and this is just, you know, how we approach it. So it's really that simple. You know, you go into MT4, you're going to see how to do your buy and sell orders.
And they're going to actually tell you what actual they're trading with, like if it's the USD, Australia. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Lakeisha has a question here.
Hello. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Can you guys hear me okay?
Excellent. Excellent. How's it going?
It's kind of breaking up for me. I just want to make sure it's not
okay.
Okay, so I have a question about the GU trade that took place on October 7th.
The signal?
Not the signal, I'm sorry, just the market itself. I was so confused by it. So can you pull that up?
Sure, yeah, I'll pull that up for you. Let me just rearrange the screen here with all this stuff. There's still people coming in, so I got to keep an eye on that.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
All right. All right, so you said GBP?
GU, yes.
All right.
October 7th.
So yeah, it's right in this area right here.
Yeah, it was after the London session.
Okay.
So I was confident that it was going to be a buy, and then that boy drop.
Okay. What time was that? That was like more or less
It
around
was
1 a.m., 2 a.m.?
2 a.m.
Like
London
around
session.
here, right?
Yes.
Okay, around here. All right.
So my question, because
go
it
ahead.
was in an uptrend. Is that October? Is that October 7th?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. It's right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was in an overall uptrend. So I was in a buy. That don't look like an uptrend right there, but
This right here is an uptrend right here. This little section here, you had an uptrend going from 6 p.m. the day before up to past midnight. And then the moment that the London session opened, it got real bullish. This candle came up. It looked like it was going to be a bullish morning, right? As we say, which means that the momentum is going up. And then within the hour, it completely flipped, right? It turned around and came down this way. So this looks to me like this is what you're talking about, if that's the right day. Is that right?
yes, it was October 7th. Let me pull up my chart from before. I guess my question is, so I also have the currency strength indicator, or the currency strength meter, I should say. And so my question is, if Great British Pound is the strongest, which it normally is, wouldn't that mean that we're going to buy the pounds and sell the quote pair?
So it seems that your question is specifically about the strength of a currency, and you're basically saying that you were looking at the strength of the currency based on that indicator, and then you made a decision to buy, right? And we know that GBP is a strong currency on its own, and you're wondering what happened to where the indicator doesn't seem to have given you accurate enough information to have made a buy decision at that time. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you hear me? If I'm breaking up, please feel free to let me know.
No. I pressed mute so I could do something else.
Okay.
But yes.
So that was okay. So if that's your question, so there's a few things that I would say here. So first thing is I have the 20 pips and dip indicator up. I'm gonna just get that off for a second, so we can just look at this naked charting, just straight up and start from there. The first thing that I would say is that your confluence, as we call it, a confluence just means a confirmation that something is going to happen in a certain way, in a way that we are predicting. And there's a few things going on here. So the first thing that I would say is I'm on the 1 hour. Okay.
I think I was on the 15 minutes.
I typically,
and that's why
you started at 15.
Yes.
Lakeisha, how you doing? This is Dan. I'm missing a piece. I'm missing a piece of information. What is the actual trade you took? You said it was coming from a trade. Was it coming from one of the coaches, or you were just in the market?
No, it was myself.
Right. So what price did you come in on, and what time? Because the markets are we can look 10 minutes earlier and it could be a totally different trade. We can look 10 minutes later. So for us to be able to really back test what we're about to do to trade, what was your entry? So we can go exactly to that number. And then what time did you enter the trade? So if you look at your trading log, whether it's MT4 or another thing, if you go back to the trades you want to back test, so we can back test with you, give us the entry. So Tito number, and then give us the exact time you entered the trade. And then we'll look on a 15-minute chart with you so we can see what it is you saw.
Okay. So it was on the 7th. My entry point was 1.28571.
1.28571. All right, I'm just going to mark that out here. 1.28.
The time was 13:47, just to use the military time.
And this was
1:47.
So okay,
13:47 is 1 p.m. So not
this was London session. This was the opening.
This is AM.
Yeah, but you say are you saying GMT time or what?
No, it's Eastern. Just before London session.
1300 is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 0100 is 1 p.m. 0200 is 2 a.m.
Right.
1400 is 2 p.m. If you're saying 1300 That's 1 p.m.
Okay. Let me check.
Right.
No, it was definitely the London session, so it would have been 2 a.m. my time.
Okay. So
Okay, I'm
around
sorry. You know what? It was on the 6th.
Okay, no worries.
the 6th. Okay.
No. Oh my God. Come
Take your
on.
time. Just read
Because
off.
I really was frustrated with this this trade, and I screenshotted it. It says the 7th. So I
Yeah,
apologize.
it was the 7th. Here's the only thing about the 7th is that price that you're talking about, that entry of 1.285, the price didn't really drop to that at that time. It was well above that by that time. It was already into the 288s and around there. So that's why I just want to make sure that we're looking at the right time as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at my trading view history right now, and it says GU on the 7th, 1.28571. It says 1347. I'm just trying to make sure. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Sounds
waste
like
any more time.
been your stop loss position. That was the actual time you took the trade. It may have hit the stop loss at that time.
Tito, you're at 2 a.m. 13:47, 100%. East Coast time is 1:47 p.m.
Yeah, it wasn't 1 p.m. because I only trade London.
I got you. I'm just saying that's what 13:47 means, though.
Right. Okay, maybe we'll move on to my second question.
All right.
My second question is, say you're in a sale, or I'm sorry, say you're in a buy and it goes to a sale and you're in the hole. So you're in a hole like $50. Would it be wise to close the trade or wait for it to come back up? Because either way, if it comes back up, you still got to crawl out that hole. But of course, closing it means for sure that you lost money.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to kind of channel Coach Max on this question. And what I'll say is this: before you enter the trade to begin with, you want to make sure that you have enough confluences, in other words, enough confirmations of things moving in the direction that you see them going before entering the trade to begin with, so that when you enter the trade and you have your parameters set, right? In this case, if we're talking about 20 pips and dip, that you have your take profit at 20 pips and you have your stop loss at 20 pips, that at the point of entry, once you have executed that trade, it's hands off. Okay, you're allowing the market to do its thing. If it's going to hit take profit or stop loss, doesn't matter. You're going to allow it to do what it's going to do. If you see it going, let's say 17, 18 pips down, and you're getting really concerned and you want to close it out, I would recommend, as you're getting familiar with the process and your analysis and getting better, that you simply allow the trade to play out. Because as you do that, number one, you're going to be respecting your trading rules, right? Which are fundamental and key to have very clear. Okay. In the case of 20 pips and dip, the method is set up in such a way where you don't have to touch it, and you shouldn't have to touch it once you place that trade. If you hit stop loss on that trade, always take it as a learning opportunity, right? Take it from the beginning, go back, review it, and see what could have been done better. Okay, so just to answer your question, as far as closing a trade early, like you should never be in a situation where a trade is going so badly that you are concerned enough that you want to close out the trade early. And this is just based on this simple 20 pips and dip method. It's the risk management is so it's so simple, right? It's so straightforward. It's just 20 pips up, 20 pips down, which is not a long distance. That if you're using that method, you shouldn't be too concerned. The only reason why you might be concerned if you are using it is if you're over leveraging. In other words, if you're putting too much money on that trade and you're not comfortable with hitting that 20 pip stop loss. And in that case, the question is, how much are you putting on that trade, and should you be putting that much? It might be time to look at maybe reducing it, right? So that you can basically just release. And that's the real key here. Actually, I'm glad you asked this question, because this brought me, this reminded me of a little nugget from my handy dandy trading journal, which we should all be logging our trades in there. Maybe not in all the detail, but at least in enough detail to remember. Now, this is just something that I'm sharing that's in the same vein, right? Method of thinking. As your risk management should be such that your confidence cancels out your concern and you are left only with indifference. Okay? So what that means is that you are equal parts confident, and then the concern, it's there and it's canceled out. With the 20 pips in dip, you got 20 pips up, 20 pips down. There's no reason why you should be feeling concerned or overly confident about the trade. You've done your homework. It's just a matter of, I did everything that I could do based on my ability right now. Let's see what happens. So I hope that answers your question. The idea is, at this point in the game, don't allow yourself to overthink the trade once it's open. Once it's open, let it play out. Make sure you're managing your risks so that no matter what happens, you're okay with it. And that's the real key here, is longevity. Don't let your emotions get too caught up in the trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I wasn't very emotional. I was confident though, but it was still going in the hole. So it's going back to my first question. I was pretty sure that it was going to be a buy, but then it kept going down and I stayed in because of my confidence and my research. But then, I ended up having to close it in the hole. So
Can I jump in, Tito?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so in the trade you're talking about, first, it's super impressive that you're ready to go in the market without the trade alerts and without the live trading sessions. But now that you are going in without the live trade alerts and the live trade sessions, you got to go all the way grown. You got to know your entry. Tito was talking about his journal. So when we start talking about this trade, somebody that went in at the pace you're going in, which is without the coaches and without the trade alerts, you should have, in my opinion, wrote down when you entered, wrote down what your confluence were, what were you thinking about. So when we're talking about the trade from a back test, we wouldn't be working to rely on your memory. We would be working to rely on your journal, and then we would have been talking about your confluences versus your confidence, right? Because your confluence would have been that it was above the 50 EMA, that you went through a trend line, that you had your support and resistance went through. You would have went through your whole trading plan with us, and we would have been able to review your trading plan with you on this call.
Well, I posted it in the chat. I posted it in the chat, and I think
Okay.
he just pulled it up. And you can see where it was in an uptrend, but it is the 15-minute. And you can see right there on the opening of London, it was going up, as I said.
Could you clarify? Yeah, could you clarify on this chart exactly where the entry was?
Okay, yes, right. You see the yellow line? That's the London opening. The next one, the day before that, sir. So go to the left.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. That's where I entered. I think I was in a buy at first because it, went up, but then it switched to a sell. So I thought it was going to be a pullback, but it continued to go down.
So this is the 6th. All right. So let me go back here. And just to kind of piggyback off of what Mr. Allen was talking about, I think that perhaps there is some hesitation when it comes to the journaling for some people, because it can be intimidating to feel like you got to write down all this information. It's not that complicated. It could be something as simple as the trade is playing out, you're simply jotting down your thoughts, your process. It could literally be, the whole trade could be described in a sentence, right? So if the trade plays out, it could be as simple as, okay, I entered this trade at this time, for let's say this many pips, because I saw this, this, and this, and then this happened. I think it may have happened because this, and this, and I'm not sure exactly why other than that, right? So that's just 1 or 2 sentences, and it could be that simple. That is incredibly helpful, because as you're doing this, your trades are just going to keep, you're not going to memorize all your trades, right? That's not the idea. By doing this, as you go back and you analyze this, you're going to, it's going to help you to remember certain things. And then as you grow, you'll actually have an opportunity to learn more and more from these mistakes, which they're not really mistakes, right? There's no mistakes in this market. It's just opportunities for improvement.
Right.
So let's look real quick at this trade. So, okay, so it was around this time. So we're talking about London session now. My first question to you is, I noticed that the chart that you have, let's mark this out. I noticed that the chart that you have, this is all in the 15-minute, okay?
Yes.
What did you do any review of this trade from a higher time interval? Or did you start charting on the 15-minute and make your decision from there?
Yeah, I mainly just used the 15-minute.
Okay. So I'm going to take it and look at it, let's say, like how I would personally start to analyze this. All right. So the way I would do it is, let's say that I did start on the 15-minute, right? Let's just say that I just happened to be on the 15-minute and I was glancing at GBP USD, and I happened to see here on the 15 that there is some kind of trend happening, and that it looks interesting. Okay. You straight up, I would not just start charting right off the bat here on the 15-minute. Okay. How I do my analysis based on the methodology that Coach Max teaches is I would see that and say, oh, okay, maybe I would say that looks interesting for a couple of reasons. I could see here it's coming down to the 50 EMA. It is in an uptrend. Okay, it's close to it. So there could be a buy opportunity here. Before I do anything else, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. Somebody else coming in. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to start on the weekly. Okay. And I got that spot marked out. So let me just, wow. Oh. All right. So I'm going to start here on the weekly, find that spot. All right. So it's right here. This is how I do my top-down analysis. Okay. I'm starting here and I'm zooming out all the way. Sometimes I'll even get crazy and start on the monthly, but the whole point of the top-down analysis, I want to zoom out as far as possible, because this macro view is as important as the micro, okay, with our decisions to make our trades, right? So here, based on this, okay, based on this trend, I can see here on the weekly, it's also above the 50 EMA. We got some bullish candles that are showing bullish momentum. Okay, so that's confirming, okay, we have some bullish momentum on the weekly. Now let's check out the daily, right? What's pending on the daily, okay? I see that there was a resistance here, okay? And I'm not gonna chart this out right now, right, for the sake of time, but I'm just giving you a synopsis. Maybe I'll mark out this resistance line right here that it broke through, and okay, it's interesting, right? Now mind you, I'm doing this in real time based on the current price, so but this still encompasses the same sort of timeline. So really, if we're looking at October 6th, you were right here, okay? So based on that time, since we're not on that day, it's difficult to know what this candle looked like at that time. But at that time, if let's say it was somewhere within this same candle here, I would already know from the previous day's candle that this same resistance line from September, right? Here you see September 18th, September 17th. It's on the same ceiling. It's hitting that same ceiling from the day before, right? Mm-hmm. So here, this is already, for me, this is one red flag, personally, okay? This is one red flag for me because what I'm seeing is that it has not broken that resistance point yet. So depending on how many pips I'm trying to catch, which we're talking about 20 pips as being the default, I'm not necessarily feeling confident yet in this trade. Okay, coming down to the 4 hour. I'm on the 4 hour here, looking at what's going on. I'm seeing this uptrend. Okay, and I still have this area marked out. Okay, so I'll just mark this out just for the sake of this. Right here was the same September point. I'll mark out that line. Right, this is that same resistance area. Okay, that zone is marked out. I'm seeing here on the 4 hour that we are right there at that same resistance line. Okay, so this is kind of, now I'm seeing in greater detail as I zoom in, I'm able to see that we are at a key level, right? So definitely write that down. If you're not familiar with that term, key level, this is extremely important, because one of the most common pieces of advice that you're going to hear from the pros is never take a trade when you're at a key level in a direction that goes against that level. Like in other words, if you're hitting resistance, don't buy until you get the confirmation that that resistance is broken. So what I would be waiting for in this case, for this situation, is I would be wanting to see the current candle above the resistance first and foremost. And then as I come down and I continue to zoom in, I'm going to skip the 3 hour because I don't really use that often. I'm going to go straight down to the 1 hour. Okay. And I'm seeing here what I want to see. I'm seeing that it was tested and it has been tested repeatedly, but there hasn't been any clear breaks. On the 1 hour, I haven't seen any candles close above that resistance line yet. So what that's actually telling me is that as of right now, there's a greater chance for this to turn around, because when it hits that ceiling, eventually it's either going to break it or it's going to bounce off of it, right? That's the simplest way that I can put it. It's not just going to stick around there, because that's not how these markets move. And if you know GBP USD, this thing swings. Okay, GBP USD moves in big numbers. That's one of the characteristics of GBP pairs. They're very volatile. So understanding that, as it's just hanging out at this key level, until I see some proof in the pudding that it wants to break through that resistance, I'm not going to make a move personally. Okay, and I'm only on the 1 hour. I haven't gotten down to the 15 yet. Okay, so what you see on the micro does not necessarily reflect on the macro. And this is why your top-down analysis is so important, is that even though your 15-minute was telling you that there was some positive action, some interesting movement for your decision, it can be deceptive, because you haven't gotten your confluence from the bigger time intervals, from the big boys, the 4 hour, the daily, the 1 hour. That's why analysis is so important, because there's nothing in this market that's foolproof, but the idea is to reduce your risk as much as possible. And in a situation like this, when you're seeing red flags like this key level resistance, it's always better to err on the side of caution, right, and not go against the grain. The market's never going to move in the direction you want it to move because you want it to move that way. It's going to do what it does. So Murphy's Law, right? Incoming fire has the right of way. I don't want to be in the way of a situation that may go wrong with this trade. Therefore, I'm going to just be patient, sit on my hands, and let it play out. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
I would recommend that you get comfortable with Coach Max's top-down analysis. As I looked at your screen, it looked like you had the pivot points up, and you had some you were drawing a symmetrical triangle. So I see you're charting. You mentioned the currency indicator, so I know what that is. So you're out fishing, and it's all respectable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would add Coach Max's top-down analysis, especially if you're going in the market just hunting or fishing. So, you're riding with, and then you're riding with no training wheels. So you got to be okay with when it doesn't work out as you see it. And from here, like I said, I'm looking at the chart trying to see what you were looking for as the chart by itself. I see the green trend line. So you grabbed, maybe that was from another time frame. I don't even know that. But you said you took a buy from the market going up. So if you're looking from that P, then the market breaks up, then it actually gets to a top where you end up drawing the beginning of that symmetrical triangle. It turned.
Yeah, and let me cut you off for 1 second, Mr. Allen, if you don't mind. I just noticed this. It's actually not GU. Okay, this pair that you're saying you traded on. I'm looking here at the top left. This is GBP NZD. Okay,
I apologize. I thought it was GU.
But they tend to move similarly. Okay, so likely the same applies. But I'm sorry, Mr. Allen. Go ahead. I just noticed.
I'm just saying it's okay. So when you're watching, go back to what you're looking at.
Okay.
So when you're watching, you got from that. I'm looking at that gold vertical line, right? So if you go back, you have about 6 green bars going, candlesticks going up.
Yeah.
Then you're changing time frame because you say you're going from you're going from Asia to London. So it's some other things that you want to have a little bit more clarity on for yourself as a trader with switching time frames to just jump in the market. But with what you got here, I would strongly recommend you go to Coach Max's top-down analysis and have this type of trading with the TDA on it, especially if you're going to be in the market without the trade alerts and the live trading sessions. So, but I'm gonna turn it back over to you, Mr. Tito, so you can get whoever else got questions.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
Thank you both.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah. I want to also say, 100%, I want to give you props because, getting in there and just going for it and charting is extremely important, to not be afraid of. And I can just see here based on what you're doing that this is an excellent place to be, especially, if you're newer to the markets, for you to already be at this point where you're seeing the things that you're seeing based on your current ability and your desire to learn and grow. This is really good. So I want to say that. And the other thing is, as Mr. Allen was just saying, as far as applying Coach Max's method and making sure that we're refining the skills that are being shared with us and taught to us. Don't be afraid to use your 20 pips and dip indicator as a major confluence collective, right? Because there's a lot here. And, and I'll just briefly here just come back to GN, which is the pair that you were trading that day. If you were using this 20 pips and dip indicator on that day, some of this stuff that I'm talking about that I was showing you on the naked charting would just be, let me just see here, October 6th. Okay. This is a good learning opportunity here for everybody. Okay. So we're here on October 6th. It's right here around this time. So you took this trade just around right then. All right. If you were using this indicator, which is provided to us for free, okay, you would see this resistance here. Now, mind you, it did break this resistance line, okay? And that resistance line, I just wanted to go back here and take a look, okay? It is a little bit different here. This resistance line that you're seeing on the 1 hour on the 20 pips and dip indicator, that's worth noting, okay?
Yes.
I would have waited until it broke it, okay, first and foremost, before feeling positive about taking that trade. I am seeing some major bullish momentum here, so I would be skeptical that it would just continue because pullbacks are pretty standard, all right? And then when I come down to the 15-minute, using this same indicator, let me find it, 1 second. Oh, it's back here, okay. Using this same indicator, right? I would have seen on the 15-minute that even though it broke this resistance down here, I want to look for where is the next point of major resistance, right? So I would be looking on the 1 hour, first and foremost, right? After doing the top-down analysis, working my way down the 1 hour, I would want to know where's the next resistance line here. And you can see it right here. Right here. So I want to know what's going to happen when it touches that key level right there. I want to know what's going to happen. And as we can see here, that's actually the exact one that it hit. So it did break through here. Yes, it did. Okay. But there's only about maybe,
But Tito, that don't look like the picture that Ms. Jones had. When you look at the 15-minute chart, if you look at that run up, it's not the same. That's why I said you got to get the time to be able to really, really speak to that particular trade or go to the 15-minute.
Yeah. I'm just sharing what I would have done or what I would have done differently Like I would have not made the trade on the 15. I would have come back, brought it back to the 1 hour after doing the analysis, just to look at where is the next resistance level, and leveraging and using this indicator that is given to us, just to make it easy, right? Based on showing me, I can tell from the 1 hour that there is a resistance level there. So if we come back to the 15-minute, I could tell you that there's something going on at this resistance level, okay, where we're seeing you know, definitely some good testing going on, right, at this resistance level once it gets up there. But if we're seeing, so you're saying you took the trade at 2 a.m. more or less?
Yes, just
Okay.
before, yes.
So it seems like what happened is you took the trade and it did go up a decent amount and then it just pulled back, right?
Yes, that's what happened.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you just gotta watch those levels. You know what I mean? Another thing that is a good idea, I don't know how many pips you were doing, but another thing that's a good idea is that once trade gets to a certain point and you feel like it's hanging there for a 1 or 2 candles too long, don't be afraid to take partials. What that means is don't be afraid to reduce the amount of lots that you have invested in that trade, and take some profit out just in case, right? Because if something like this happens and you come back and you hit your stop loss, then that's a situation. The other thing that I would recommend that is also a very common recommendation from Coach Max is once you hit a certain point, you should already have as part of your trading plan a very clear rule that is once I'm X amount of distance into profit, I should be bringing my stop loss to break even. You understand? So the idea is once, let's say in this case, I mean, this is a good distance that you had before it turned around, right? You had a good amount of breathing room. You caught a pretty nice run here, actually. This is better than what the GBP chart looked like, actually. You had a better opportunity here than over there. So you know, 30 pips, you were up 30 pips at some point. By the time you were around those 20, 30 pips on this particular trade, that was your cue to either take all profit or take some profits. Okay, this is a big part of risk management, is taking some profit and then bring your stop loss up. There's no reason to keep it way down wherever you had it. That stop loss after a certain distance should just come up, and that way there's no more risk in the trade. You're not going to lose any money. If it does pull back down to this level again, you can see you would just break even. You would have had some profits that you would have taken, and then you would have broken even at the end. You still would have had profit. Okay, so I'm glad that we clarified the pair, because this is a good scenario, and the trade wasn't bad. You didn't take a bad trade. It's just a matter of while the trade is happening, making sure that you're managing your risk according to, you know, the method that Coach Max is teaching us, right? So,
thank you. If we have time, I would love to revisit the question about the currency strength meter, but we can come back at the end if we have time.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, so we're at 11:45 right now. Let's see. Let me just review the chat here if there's anything else. Questions here. Oh, Derek. Yes, go ahead and unmute yourself, brother.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the last lady with all questions. I really got something out of that, so I appreciate her for that. I have a question about yesterday was the 9th USD CAD trade.
Okay.
I'm looking at the time. I think it was in the morning. That's the only thing I didn't write down about my trade was in the morning. I think the time frame of it. But I got in the market at 1.31318. I think it was, I'm trying to read my FX choice to see the time on there.
Okay, can you repeat the date and more or less the time frame?
So the date was yesterday.
All right. So it was around somewhere in here. Okay.
Yeah, right at the bottom, right before that buy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I got in at. I got in right there, and I set my stop loss at 1.31426. And
what you did a buy or sell?
I did a buy.
Okay.
So what I saw was that mother candle that you're on right there, and then a smaller candle, and I'm thinking that it is Harami, bullish. So I entered a buy, and maybe I put my take profit too high. My take profit's at 1.31426.
All right, so let me see, 1.31426. It's like right around. It's like right here.
Put up. Yeah, thank you.
And I set my stop loss at 3.1150.
1150. Okay.
And what's the entry?
Right at the, and my entry was, I think it was 131318.
Okay, entry was this entry was 1.31318. 31318. All right, so it's like right there. All right. Okay.
So I think I got in a little too late on the trade. I didn't take this trade from Epic. It was something that I was looking at, and I started looking at the candles, and I'm just trying to see where did I go wrong, or did just the market turn? I saw it was going down for a while, and then when I saw the bullish Harami, I thought maybe it's going to turn around.
When you say bullish Harami, you're talking about this one right here, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, first thing that I want to check here is what are we talking about risk to reward here, right? So you take profit was about 10 pips up. Your risk was about 16, 17. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sure Dan will have some input on this. I'll just share from my perspective on this trade, right? I want to look at always with my top-down analysis, at the very least, starting on the daily. Okay, so I'll even turn off 20 pips and dip for this part for a moment here, just to take a clear look at what's going on. And I can already see, right, based on what's going on the daily, if we're talking about candlestick Bible stuff, that we got three very clear red crows forming, right? It's not looking great for buy opportunities just yet. Now, that doesn't mean that one will not take place, that a key level will not be hit, but this is also a big reason why the 20 pips and dip method leverages the 50 EMA so much. What Coach Max is doing by teaching us to stick close to the 50 EMA is so that these kinds of losses that you experience don't happen as often, because what we can see, so for example, here on the 1 hour, is that you're a good distance away from that 50 EMA at this point, right? Once that 50 EMA is such a key level that if you're starting this distance from it, you're kind of way out in the field at the mercy of what the market sentiment and the whatever the key levels are telling you. There's a lot of bearish sentiment in the market still, so it's pretty risky to kind of, based on one or two confluences, just to go ahead and go against the current of the market trend. Okay, we're seeing that there's a lot of bearish sentiment, and putting a buy order in while that's happening is a kind of an advanced maneuver and requires a good amount of confluences to go for. So that's just kind of on the surface. What I'm seeing here is that this is drifting away a little bit from the 20 pips and dip method, in the sense that this 50 EMA up here is crucial. right? You want to make sure that you're close to it. In this case right here, you're a good, I mean, you're about 50 pips away from it. So that right there is telling you that you're way out in the ocean, right? Away from the boat, and on your own a little bit when it comes to this particular set of parameters and methods that are outlined here in this. I don't know, Mr. Allen, do you have anything you like to add to this particular?
Yeah, my question, you know, of course, I'm gonna go straight to, you should start doing the top-down analysis. That's going to be my first thing, Derek. But right where we are, can you go to the 5-minute?
Sure.
So with the prices that you gave us, why did you pick the take profit where you put it at? Because you said you didn't go off of a trade alert, you didn't go off of a live trading session, so you're out in the market, you're out in the ocean as well, which again is not a bad thing, but it could be a bad thing if you're not ready. Why did you pick the take profit area that you picked?
I picked that one. I was just trying to get in and out, and I thought if it turned, and it went, you know, the wrong way, I wouldn't lose that much, but I wanted to get in quick.
That's your stop loss, though, Derek. That's your stop loss.
No.
I want to know why did you pick the number you picked for the take profit?
Oh, for my take profit. So the take profit, I picked it because I wasn't completely sure what it was going to do.
So yeah.
So I just went short with it. I just went short with the take profit because I wasn't sure what it was going to do.
Right. So like Tito was saying, what you found yourself doing was going counter trend without it retesting, and you base your entire trade from what you're saying off the harami, the bullish harami. So that would be one indicator to make a confluence to take a trade. So when you see the top down analysis, you'll see us take the 50 EMA, which Tito was showing you, the major support trend lines, and then of course the 20 pip dip indicator is the secret sauce that's extra on it. And I think you just didn't have a solid 3 different reasons for taking a trade. And then when you're taking if you're going to be trading without the stop loss, without the trade alerts, and you're going to be trading without the live trade sessions, you should have a reason why you picked the level you picked for your stop loss and the reason why you picked your take profit. So I would really kind of go into my 2-week syllabus, be okay. First, was this a demo trade or a live trade?
That was a live trade.
Yeah, I please stop doing this because I don't think that you're ready for it yet. And it's no rush to get to where we're going, especially if you're not ready.
Yes, sir.
Because what happened is our male egos will feel okay because we took a live trade, but we'll start, we're not getting the good habits in yet. And then now we're getting negative reinforcement, and it can only lead to depression and frustration.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is like boxing with no headgear on, going in the market live.
Okay.
So, but start with your 2-week syllabus, and then you as well go to the Coach Max's top-down analysis, and then model. It's like my aunt has the great macaroni and cheese recipe. I've eaten it a bunch of times, but until I go in the kitchen and find out how she makes the recipe, just because I go to the supermarket and I've tasted it before, don't mean I know how to make it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So part of having a subscription is to be able to come get this type of feedback like we're doing now. And I'm glad that you're here so we can all learn together. But part of it is because we got the master chefs already showing us how to make the deal, how to make the dishes. So I would leverage the education.
Yes, got it.
One thing that Mr. Allen uses as an analogy sometimes, I notice, is the heart surgeon analogy. And, you know, speaking on that and seeing how it applies here, it's interesting because a heart surgeon, right, before they're doing the surgery on the particular part of the heart that they got to operate on, what do they got to do? They got to make the initial incision, right? And you're not going to use the same eye or the same level of detail to make the initial incision as you are when you're doing the actual surgery on the particular part of the body that you're operating on, right? So the question here is, when you make the initial incision, how are you coming in? You're not all up against it like this. You want to have a good look from the outside before you do that. And that's the whole point of the top-down analysis. We're starting out. We want to look at the whole body, make sure we're starting in the right spot to make that initial incision. And then we can come in and do the work itself here on, the 5-minute as the kind of final time interval that is recommended for this particular strategy. So let's just assume for one moment that on the 1 hour, you were close to the 50 EMA, right? And following this method. And then we zoom in on the 5-minute, and now we're looking at this. I could tell you just even right here a couple of things. The first thing is you got this support line established, okay? You got that support line that's already been established. So that is a very key level for you to be looking at before coming in. Now I can see that your entry was basically, if I'm not mistaken, it was right around this candle right here? Do you remember?
138. Yeah, 318 is what he said. Are you talking about where he actually?
I just want to make sure it's the right candle.
Oh, I hope it's that blue one. I think that yellow pivot right behind where your mouse is was the creation of that F.R.E.E he was talking about. So.
And the F.R.E.E was on the 1 hour, okay?
Right.
No, I'm waiting at the end.
Yeah.
That's why again we got to get but we're 2 minutes from 12. We gotta wrap this up, Tito.
Yeah.
So that way we're not bumping into the next thing.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
So that covers a good amount for today. We definitely got pretty technical there. It's good though, get into some of this risk management stuff, and then the details of the method that we're being offered in this company, specifically by the director, but all the pros, So yeah, I want to thank Mr. Allen for your input as well. Anything that you guys want to break down further or dig into more, that's what the GEP chat is for. So let's, continue in there with any further questions or charts that you want to look at and whatnot, and keep the momentum going. We are pretty much right at 12, so we are going to conclude it here. And Mr. Allen, is there anything that you would like to close with here?
No, sir. We right at the time. We can see Mr. Ramos is here, but past that, I want to respect what's coming up next. There is a live presentation at 12 o'clock. Mr. Ramos does, and
yeah, at the 12 o'clock, we're locked out of it. So just push everybody and all your guests to the 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Central opportunity. That's the next opportunity Zoom because we're locked out of it. Amy, our presenter, went in more than a few times and had the wrong information, and they've locked us out of it. So we cannot do it on that Zoom. So we'll do the next one at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock Central. And of course, we do have the training today at 1 p.m. Eastern with our Vice President of Sales, Mark Sterling, and our Global Master Ambassador, Mr. Jonathan Green. That's on the opportunity.epictrading.com URL, opportunity.epictrading.com. And that's at 1 p.m. Eastern. So load up all of your team members to get the 10 core commitments. That's what this is about. So these 10 things will provide you with a healthy, thriving business, and you don't want to miss any of that training at 1 if you're able to make it. I say this was a phenomenal Q&A, guys. You guys are just getting better every week, and I think the questions are getting better, the engagement's getting better, and people are trading. Even when they're trading haphazardly, I think it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's absolutely a good thing. Just making sure we be careful in regards to that. So I love the 20 pips indicator. I'm falling in love with it anyway, as I learned it as well. So this has been good for me. Appreciate you guys. I'll turn it back over to you.
Tito, it's all yours.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, thank you, everybody, once again. I hope that this was helpful. And again, if you want to dig deeper into any of these questions or any of these charts, please feel free to drop them in the GEP chat, and we'll continue that way. And with that said, have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you again soon. God bless.